Thanks for staying with us. You're watching WION World is One. I'm Adhya Juneja and this is Speed News. Let's start with all the stories making headlines today. US Vice President J.D. Vance said that the United States will continue to pursue a long-term diplomatic agreement with Iran to prevent it from deploying and developing nuclear weapons, even if Israel opposes the effort. Vance stated that Washington believes securing a nuclear agreement fundamentally serves American interests, regardless of whether Israel approves. Iran's chief negotiator Mohammad Baghir Ghalibaf said Iran will overcome the United States naval blockade of its ports. Well, this as he accused Washington of using maritime restrictions as part of a broader campaign against Tehran and linked them to the latest escalation in the region. His remarks came after US President Donald Trump said earlier in the day that the blockade introduced in April would remain in force until a final peace agreement is reached between the two sides. Iran and Israel have halted attacks on each other after the two countries exchanged fire for the first time since April's truce. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced that Israel was temporarily holding fire. Hours after Tehran said it had ceased its military operations, Tehran launched missiles at Israel on Sunday, saying the attack was retaliation for an Israeli strike on Beirut. Israel struck back, triggering another round of Iranian missiles before Tehran announced it would cease fire. Netanyahu reportedly called off further strikes on Iran despite fighter jets being ready on the runway after a warning from US President Donald Trump. Israel struck back, triggering another round of Iranian missiles before Tehran announced it would cease fire. Tehran's international airport has reopened and flights carrying Hajj pilgrims from Saudi Arabia have landed. Tehran's international airport had suspended all incoming flights on Sunday after Iranian missile strikes on Israel. Israel retaliated with strikes of its own. It was the latest closure for the airport, one of two serving the Iranian capital, which had only reopened in the month of April after being shut for weeks during the West Asia war. An Indian-origin woman is set to challenge for the top job in America's second-largest city. Los Angeles City Council member Nithya Raman has advanced to a November runoff against Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, setting up an unexpected contest between two Democrats and former political allies. The 44-year-old Raman hedged past former reality TV star Spencer Pratt to secure a spot in the runoff against the incumbent mayor. Pratt, who entered the race after losing his home in the 2025 wildfires, had maintained a lead for days, but as vote counting continued following last week's election, Raman surged ahead. A U.S. judge has blocked President Donald Trump's $100,000 annual fee on H-1B visa applications, ruling it an unlawful tax that violated federal administrative law and the Constitution. Well, Trump had raised cost of visa for highly skilled workers in executive order last year. 20 Democratic state attorneys generals had challenged the fee. In his 42-page ruling, U.S. District Judge Leo Sorokin in Boston vacated the sweeping fee, finding that the fee amounted to a tax rather than a regulatory restriction. Since the Constitution gives Congress, not the President, the exclusive power to levy taxes, Trump lacked the authority to impose it. US President Donald Trump was loudly booed at Madison Square Garden in New York City before the start of Game 3 of the NBA Finals between the home team Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs. Trump's attendance at the game caused a wait of 2 hours or more for ticket-holding fans to enter the famed arena in Midtown Manhattan after security screening. Italian prosecutors have put Israel's far-right National Security Minister Ben Gvir under investigation over the treatment of Gaza flotilla activists seen in video he published last month. According to Italy's ANSA news agency, prosecutors are investigating allegations including torture and kidnapping of the activists, which included several Italian nationals. The video, which showed him taunting and humiliating dozens of bound and kneeling activists that Israel had detained after intercepting the flotilla at sea, sparked immediate international outcry as well as condemnations from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Foreign Minister Gideon Saar. Russian strikes killed 4 people and wounded 10 others in Ukraine's northeastern Kharkiv region. Separately, Kharkiv Mayor Igor Terikov reported 10 people were wounded in his city. Russian attacks have intensified in recent months, and Ukraine has hit back with its own drone strikes further into Russian territory, saying these are mainly against military and energy facilities. France and Germany have officially scrapped the Joint Future Combat Air System FCAS fighter jet project. French President Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz mutually acknowledged that the principal industrial partners, Dassault Aviation and Airbus, were unable to resolve key disputes over work sharing, leadership, and aircraft specifications. Philippines is still reeling from the 7.8 magnitude earthquake that struck on Monday. The tremors toppled buildings and sparked tsunami warnings across the region. At least 37 people are dead. National disaster authorities say at least a dozen people were still missing, while more than 130 have sustained injuries. A series of powerful aftershocks rocked the area from about 2 hours after the first quake, with the largest measuring magnitude of 6.5. Protesters in Bolivia demanding the resignation of conservative President Rodrigo Paz hurled firecrackers, stones and sticks at police who responded with tear gas. The clash led to dozens of arrests as road blockades continue to paralyze the Andean nation. The renewed clashes in the central city of Cochabamba erupted after President Paz signed a measure that could pave the way for a hardline government crackdown on the demonstrations that have roiled Bolivia over the past 5 weeks. Tensions are boiling over in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. A massive shutdown and protest movement is set to take place on June 9th, even as the region reels from days of deadly violence. According to reports, clashes between supporters of a banned organization and security forces have left at least 11 people dead, while more than 70 others have been injured. The unrest has triggered fears of a wider law and order crisis in the region. Pope Leo promised victims of sexual violence by the Catholic clergy that the Church would make additional efforts to change during a meeting in Madrid. On the third day of his state visit to Spain, the Pope spent an hour with victims of sexual violence by the Catholic clergy. Following this, the Catholic pontiff assured them of his commitment that would make the church a safe and spiritually healthy place. Pope Leo said that the scandal of sexual violence still opened a wound for the church. The Nigerian army said it has secured the release of 360 people abducted by the Boko Haram armed group earlier this year in the country's northeast. The rescue operation unfolded in a Boko Haram stronghold in the south of Borno state. Forces descended upon the Mandara mountains where Boko Haram fighters were holding hundreds of people under harsh conditions. The chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court has been suspended amid sexual abuse allegations. The ICC's governing body announced the decision on Monday as Karim Khan continues to face accusations of sexual misconduct involving a member of his office. The 21-member Bureau of the Assembly of States Parties, which oversees the court, voted to suspend Khan with immediate effect. The body said the move was approved by a qualified majority pending a final decision by the full assembly representing all ICC member states. However, the Bureau stressed that the suspension does not prejudge the outcome of the case. In Bangladesh, 8 more children have died from measles and measles-like symptoms in the last 24 hours, pushing the total death toll to 628. More than 65,000 suspected measles patients have been hospitalized since March 15. Official data says that over 61,000 of these patients have recovered. According to the WHO, measles is one of the most contagious diseases in the world. It spreads through coughs and sneezes and have no specific treatment once caught. A highly infectious disease, one case of measles can infect up to 18 other people. China's foreign ministry has backed stronger cooperation between Beijing, Moscow and New Delhi. During a media briefing, China's foreign ministry spokesperson Lin Jian said New Delhi and Beijing are cooperation partners, not competition rivals. The statement comes after Russian President Vladimir Putin said India and China are trying to resolve issues of mutual interest, including the border issue. Lin Jian added that the China-India border situation is currently generally stable and the two sides have smooth communication. Additionally, China's foreign ministry spokesperson said sound relations between China, Russia and India are conducive to regional and global peace, security, stability and prosperity. He also added that China is ready to maintain communication with Russia and India to advance cooperation among the three countries. The United States has added Chinese tech giants Alibaba, Baidu and electric vehicle maker BYD to a list of companies it believes are supporting China's military. The updated Pentagon list also includes memory chip makers CXMT and YMTC, robotics firm Unity, and several other Chinese technology companies. Well, Washington says the designated firms qualify as Chinese military companies operating in the US, though inclusion on the list does not automatically trigger sanctions. Well, Beijing has criticized the move, accusing the US of targeting Chinese businesses and calling for a fair and non-discriminatory business environment. Meta is investing $115 million in a new workforce training program aimed at preparing Americans for data center technician jobs as it expands its AI infrastructure. The program, called America's Workforce Academy, will offer free training and guaranteed job offers to graduates working on Meta's data center projects. The company says the initiative supports its broader push to build the massive computing infrastructure needed for advanced AI systems and AI agents. Uber has opened sign-ups for what could become London's first public robotaxi service, with rides expected to begin once regulators give final approval. The self-driving vehicles will use AI technology from British startup Wavy and have been tested on London streets for several years. Initial rides will include trained safety operators behind the wheel, while passengers will be able to choose between an autonomous vehicle or a conventional Uber ride. Asian stock markets recovered on Tuesday after a brutal sell-off in the previous session. South Korea's Kospi led the gains, jumping 3% after plunging more than 8% on Monday. Japan's Nikkei edged higher, while broader Asia-Pacific shares also advanced. The rebound came as investors returned to technology stocks and responded positively to signs of easing tensions in West Asia. However, analysts warn that higher bond yields and expectations of further interest rate hikes could keep market volatility elevated. Oil prices edged higher on Tuesday as investors assessed a fragile pause in hostilities between Iran and Israel. Brent rose above $94 a barrel, while crude traded above $91. Markets remain cautious despite both sides agreeing to halt attacks following an appeal from US President Donald Trump. Analysts say traders are not yet convinced the truce will hold, with concerns persisting over regional stability and the future of oil flows through the Strait of Hormuz. For now, energy markets continue to price in geopolitical uncertainty. Gold prices fell for a third straight session on Tuesday as rising US Treasury yields reduced the appeal of the safe haven metal. Spot gold eased to around $4,320 an ounce after hitting a more than 2-month low a day earlier. Investors are increasingly betting on higher US interest rates, with markets now pricing in a strong chance of a Fed rate hike by year-end. Meanwhile, ongoing tensions in West Asia and concerns over inflation continue to keep markets on edge. Analysts say higher borrowing costs could limit gold's upside in the near term. India has recorded its biggest ever victory in Test cricket after beating Afghanistan by an innings and 300 runs in New Chandigarh. This is the only Test match India will play at home this year. Manav Suthar starred on his Test debut and was named the player of the match. The left-arm spinner claimed 6 for 33 in the first innings as India bowled Afghanistan out for 152. The hosts piled up 564 for 8 before declaring off spinner Washington Sundar did most of the damage in Afghanistan's second innings as the visitors could only manage 112. Sundar took 4 wickets while Manav finished the match with a 7-wicket tally. The focus now shifts to India's ODI series against Afghanistan, which begins on Saturday. And that is it in this edition. News and updates will continue on the other side. Keep watching WION World is One. Stay tuned.